Have we got everyone? Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm just annoyed that Rose's banging on her glass and threatening you worked better than me on the microphone. You all kind of were like, yes, all right, and kept on talking. Welcome to this month's Brighton AI event. We're very lucky to have James, Sophie, and Simon with us tonight to share their stories. You'll have opportunities to ask them questions as much as you want. Mostly as much as you want. So I'm just going to open us up. That's going to do it, isn't it? Fantastic. So just follow us on Meetup, and this is the way that you can stay in touch with us. I can work a remote. So just introducing you to the team. Tonight you've got myself, Rose, and Zoe here. Rose and Zoe. And we're obviously missing, what's that? Yeah, come and say hi. There you go. There's Zoe. Oh, yes. Hello. On the camera. Yes, we're being streamed. Oh, and I should say, actually, that'll take me 100 years to go back. Please scan the QR code because we're always looking for supporters, organisers, panelists, members, and all the things that it says on the screen. So please scan that. It'll take you to a form that you can fill in and give us your information. So just letting you know, you are you're part of our over 2,000 strong membership group. And we're always looking for other ideas. So if you've got, like Andy was just talking to us, he's an expert in quantum computing. So look for that coming up soon and the confluence of that with AI. And we're being streamed. I got it wrong. Supercomputing. Okay, so now I'm getting into trouble from the experts, right? And I also want to let you know of another event that we run under Brighton AI, which is run by the amazing Rose, which is No Code and Brews. So to follow on from kind of the topic tonight, it's really popular. And yes, there is a lot of beer drunk. And now, Sam.
Thanks, Mary. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm the marketing manager here at +X Innovation. So for those of you who've not been to our hub before, we're an innovation hub based on 3 core pillars. So there are specialist facilities. You may have seen our workshop downstairs. It has like 3D printers and stuff like that. So we also have our programs. So we have business support that we offer to our members, and we also have a community of innovators so that we do regular sort of networking events and stuff like that. So if you want to find out any more information about the hub or any of our programs, feel free to reach out to me or any of the team just downstairs. We're currently running a competition. We've just extended it for a further week where you can win a free away day for you and your team. It's worth up to £1,000. It's fully catered, and you are able to book it within sort of 3 months of the competition ending. It's completely free to enter, so if it's something that you're interested in, feel free to scan the QR code and enter before the 10th of October. We're not planning a fire drill tonight, but if it does go off, we've got the fire escape just to your left here. We also have a fire escape downstairs, and our refuge point is at the B&Q car park. Then one of our team will go out and tell you when it's all clear and you can come back into the building. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the event tonight. Thanks, Mary.
Yeah, we're very biased about +X, so absolutely talk to Sam if you want to wander around the facilities. So just kind of, we are part of Silicon Brighton, which has now, if I had done my work, I would remember how many meetups they have, but pretty much anything you can think of, they will have a meetup for. And if there's something on there that shouldn't, if there's something missing from there, then contact them and you can run your own meetup. We are streaming and recording tonight. And now I'm going to hand over to, am I handing over to you, Rose, or am I handing straight over to? Straight in there. So you'll have to remind me of who's first. James, the one closest to me. That makes my life easier. James, welcome James on, everyone. He's going to share his story.
Thank you.
Ooh, hi everyone. So I'm James. Hopefully, I'm going to show you a live demo of some of our internal AI systems that we use. I kind of work on two things primarily. One is Create With, which is a conference that happens once a year, and now smaller ones all around the world, which is all about trying to encourage people to learn how to build software without necessarily being a programmer, using no-code and AI tools. So we've had 2 editions of that. And I also run a SaaS called UserLoop that I built using these tools. I used to be a product manager for years, and then I kind of got into building this stuff, and I've been running that for like 4 years now. Are we gonna... oh, yeah. So I guess I could talk a little bit about Create With. So what I'm going to show is an internal RAG system. Oh, perfect, thanks. System. So I don't know, you may have come across RAG before. It's Retrieval Augmented Generation. And basically, it helps us use AI and give AI context about our organization. So for us, our internal system has knowledge about our YouTube videos, our events, our documents, and then we can query it not only from in things like Claude, connected up via an MCP, but also through AI agents. And this is all done in N8N. So I'm just going to show you quite quickly how it's put together. And then there's YouTube videos and stuff we've made that show how to recreate the whole thing. I got a couple of photos just from the conference and stuff, just to give you a bit of a vibe of what it was like. But yeah, it's really, really great. We had like Jonas Templestein, co-founder of Monzo, came and was telling us how he used AI, every day. And it's it was awesome. A little bit about UserLoop. So this is my SaaS that I build day to day, primarily built with Bubble. You may have come across it, no-code tool. Also with a ton of AI generated code that runs on Cloudflare workers, back end of Supabase and HookTech as well. So I won't touch too much on that, but I thought it might be good context. These were the 2 workflows I was going to show today. So like Create With is really small, and it's kind of a side project, to be honest. So we need it to run itself, really. So we use tons and tons of little AI agents to do stuff. And 2 of them I'll show you is our internal MCP server, which is that RAG system that I was just talking about. So it has knowledge of all our YouTube videos, bits and pieces. It'll be clearer when I show it. And also an automated workflow that we have that whenever we publish a YouTube video, an AI agent extracts the transcript and then posts a new page on the website about that video for us. Like, this would be stuff that we just probably would never get around to doing if we had to do it by hand. So those are the few bits that I'm going to show. So now, fingers crossed, I'm going to quickly show how some of these things actually work. I'll talk through some of the higher concepts. So I'll start with our RAG system. So basically, what this is a vector database where we store the transcripts of YouTube videos, details of our upcoming events, tweets. Like, we have tons of stuff in there, and each of them has their own kind of workflow in N8N, which ingests data into Supabase, basically. So I'll show you our YouTube one just to give a very high level example of what it does. So every day, the first step, it pulls our latest videos from YouTube. This is using Appify that you might have come across. It's a really easy way to get structured data out of platforms like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, where their APIs are a nightmare. So we use that a lot. Then we check whether it's whether we have any new videos. Then we use Appify again to grab the transcript of that video, and then it's loaded into the vector database. And yeah, if you're interested in recreating this, I'll put a link up to our YouTube video where I show how to build this whole thing. But to be honest, I'm not super technical, and I followed a couple of YouTube videos, and I managed to put this together in like a day. And now we use it every day. So once you kind of get your head around some of the concepts a little bit, it's really awesome. The other bit I'll quickly show you before I show you how it works is our internal MCP server. So let me find the right one. So yeah, so this I'm going to show you. I'll show you what this actually does in a sec. But essentially in N8N we have this MCP server here, which means we can call it either from in N8N itself or from a tool like Claude, and I'll show you how we call it from Claude in a sec. And it has access to all these tools that let it pull information out of that vector database. So when it gets a query of like what YouTube videos have, what's the latest one, for example, it will come and use the YouTube tool down here, pull that data out of the vector database and return it. And just at the most simple level, I'll show you how it works. So Claude is awesome. You can hook it up to MCPs like that. And you'll see in here, I've got the create with MCP server. And all of these tools here, so events, tweets, newsletters, YouTube videos, each of these corresponds to one of these tools here. So they're directly available from inside Claude. So I'll just say, I'll give you an example of how we use this. I'll just put this down so I can type it in. Right, so I've just written into Claude, write a tweet about our latest YouTube video. And when I run this, Claude, fingers crossed, will use the create with MCP. So you can see here, it's querying that tool and it's asking it, what are the most recent YouTube videos? And fingers crossed in a second, yeah, it gets the response back and then it can write a tweet about it, and it knows about the content of that video. So it's not a generic ChatGPT tweet, it's actually interesting stuff that was in the video. This works. The reason we love this is when we have like someone giving an hour-long talk, this can actually write the cool stuff that they said in the tweet, for example. That's where this gets actually really useful. And you can call it from tons of other places. It's like Claude is just one, ChatGPT is working on support for it at the moment. It won't work with this exact example, but I'm sure it won't be long before you can. And you can also use it from inside N8N itself. So you can use it on a bunch of other workflows. So that's one. And the second one I was going to quickly show was our website. So on our website, we have these pages for whenever we publish a YouTube video. We have a workflow that generates a web page for that YouTube video. So, for example, the recap of the conference. Once this is published, it writes this kind of little blog post and publishes it for us. I'll show you the workflow in N8N that does that. So I think it's this video ingester. Yeah. So again, this is a job that just runs every day, and it uses those same Appify and services that we spoke about before. It's really quite cheap. I mean, I don't think we ever spend more than $20, $40, $20, $30 a month on it. And it just makes it so easy to pull data in, because otherwise we were spending ages faffing around trying to get YouTube APIs working, or it's just so easy to just have it there, and it's actually built into N8N now, so you don't even have to set it up like this with APIs. It's built in. So yeah, it pulls the videos, gets the transcripts, and then there's a little AI agent in here, and basically what that does, I'll show you the kind of prompt. But its job is to analyze the transcript from the YouTube video, write a description. It's got to be in this BB code that our website uses. And it's the other interesting thing is it's also supposed to look for any brands that are mentioned. So like if someone mentioned Superbase in that talk, it says it should go and use this tool here to go and pull out all the brands from our database and then tag them. So when the video is published, if any brands are mentioned, you can see their little logos pop up here. So someone talked about Notion and Figma in this talk, and that was all automatically done and tagged for us. Which, it's just stuff that would be a faff, and it would just take time to do it yourself. So this just happens with, we don't have to do anything, and it just runs. So that AI agent then runs, and then it does a post request, which basically posts that data to Bubble, which runs our website, and it creates the web page for it. So that's kind of a quick demo of that. I think that's probably me at time, but I have got a QR code. If there's a video here on YouTube, if you want to make your own Superbase RAG system, I kind of go through how to build that exact thing that we just looked at in as non-technical terms as possible. So, we really try and make it not for programmers, for everyone. So, that's it. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks, James. We're going to we'll have an opportunity to ask questions, but what we're going to do is invite all the speakers up, then have a panel, and that's the opportunity to ask questions if that works for everyone. So next up, we'll invite Sophie. So Sophie Bolston is the founder and CEO of Inkie. Sophie brings the founder's lens on AI and no-code tools, how they're transforming creative business operations, strategic direction, and customer experience at Inkie with the AI platform they've created. Thank you.
Oh, I covered it up, sorry. Well, you've already introduced me beautifully. I'm Sophie, co-founder of Inkie, and I'm here today with my husband and co-founder, Simon. But before we get going, I thought I'd do a little heads up, because last year, Simon and I thought we should probably get some public speaking training in. And we looked into courses and workshops and things, and discovered that a cheaper and set in a pub way of doing things was to do a stand-up comedy course. So we decided to opt for that. And the reason why I'm giving you a bit of a heads up is Simon hasn't had much chance to use his comedy material since. You might well find some puns and dag jokes coming at you. But back to Inkie. So around 2 years ago, I'd been working in marketing, copywriting, and helping small businesses for about 20 years. And my job had become increasingly copying and pasting, sourcing images, working out where things go in timelines, when to post what and where. And sometimes it would take me like 2 days of work. Even as much as I love working with small businesses, and as much as I wanted to charge as smaller price as possible, small businesses would still struggle to pay for this. And on the other hand, big marketing agencies would charge thousands of pounds, and it just meant that small businesses couldn't compete and couldn't reach the same audience, and that's not fair. So, so I got it into my head that the content needs to be reused, and I kept mulling this over again and again. And can I go on to the next slide, please? Yeah, all right. No, my comedy is not going to be performed today.
Yeah, we usually have people helping us with it. We are talking about ourselves. So it's coming.
We can use AI to cut this bit out of the video, right? I can just start talking about it anyway. So basically, blogs could become social posts, newsletters can refer to the blogs, and it just means that you could get a lot of save time and cost getting your content out. I just kept thinking that a clever formula and the right tech could automate all of that. And after possibly one complaining session too much, Simon finally said that the tech has caught up with my idea and he could build something. So that's when Inkie started. And he started building the system for us. And we quite quickly realized that what we were building was too good not to share with other people. And all small businesses could benefit from our platform. So part of what makes Inkie different, there was next slide and next slide. That was the nice diagram of how you reuse the information. So part of what makes Inkie different is the onboarding process. So in journalism, copywriting, and marketing, the key is finding like the really interesting stuff about the client. So their passion, their purpose, why they're doing what they're doing. And the challenge then became how to get that information from the customer into Inkie without using me. So, and that was the onboarding. If people feel that good stuff, that juicy stuff about a customer, that's what connects with customers. Oh, we're not quite on there yet, but that's all right. So that juicy information, that's what stuff connects with customers. Because customers need to feel understood. They need to feel like their needs and are being answered. And oh my God, I'm so sorry. I keep getting their needs and struggles are being answered. They're far more likely to trust you and therefore go on to become your customer. So I think my years of mothering neurodiverse teenagers has put me in good stead of getting AI to write the right information, to create the right prompts, because really they're very similar. I think my too much information and they get overwhelmed and forgot what you started with. Ask something they don't know the answer to, and they pretend they do know and make something up, and don't ever expect them to admit that they got something wrong. They'll just act like they got it right in the first place, leaving you frustrated and potentially arguing with your computer. So we landed on 4 onboarding steps, and this is where you chat to Inkie AI. It asks you questions about your business, and if you give a superficial answer, it keeps pushing to find out more. But if you've already done all your branding and all that kind of stuff, you know your business inside and out, then you can just copy and paste it into that process, and it doesn't take any time at all. So the 4 steps are branding, including your tone of voice, business info, your people and your products, what you offer, your ideal customer, so that it knows how to talk to the people that you want to attract, and your marketing preferences. Once Inkie has got all of that information, it creates your content timeline. So you hop over every month at the start of the month to create your month's worth of content. It asks you if you've got any updates, any new products, any special offers or events that are happening in that month that you want to market. And then it creates, the magic happens, and it creates a whole month's worth of content. You connect it to your social media platforms, you connect it to your website so that blogs working on increasing your SEO are automatically published. And then it just, once you've gone on, checked it all out, you can now go on to the next slide. Thank you. So this is what you end up with. So blogs each day, you can, this is one of my customers, she doesn't mind, I'm sure. It all goes out on public anyway. So you can click on images if you want to replace something. We source all our images from an image bank, so you can find other ones in a similar term, or you can upload your own and upload videos as well. And then it sends it all out for you. The other side of the business is our business builder, and this is why we've just got innovation funding. So part of my story was I was a single mum, started my first business at 20, and it was an absolute disaster. I was ripped off, people gate-kept information, and I was told that I couldn't do things, which I don't like being told. I'm determined that no one else is going to fake this. So using the same technology as a marketing platform, the business builder takes you through every step of setting up a business. It explains things, it teaches you how to do things for yourself. And if you're just starting out in the benefits trap, it gives you everything that you need to show your work coach that you are gainfully employed, and therefore you have access to 12-month runway to work on your business instead of applying for jobs that you don't want and you're not passionate about. So the other part of the funding is to make Inkie completely accessible for neurodiverse entrepreneurs and people with dyslexia. So you can just speak to it instead of having to type anything. My hope is that next year this is going to be rolled out throughout job centres, encouraging a new wave of entrepreneurs, because I really do believe that the world is richer if everyone follows their purpose.
Sophie. Now we have Simon, who is the CTO of Inkie, and Simon follows with the technical view, how Inkie is building AI-powered systems with care, choosing the right tools, and balancing innovation and responsibility.
Okay, how's this going to work? Oh, yes. Hey, okay. Hi. Well, this is slightly terrifying. So Sophie said to me she'd volunteered me to come and speak about AI. And I was like, yeah, I love speaking about AI, but she didn't say there's a room full of AI experts that I had to speak to. So thanks for that, Sophie. And well, I am suspicious that there are some of you here just for the drinks and snacks. So I won't be too long, if that's okay. So a bit about me. Is it going to go? Oh, there we go. Hang on. Yeah. So I've got over 25 years. I'm Simon Dixon, by the way, CTO of Inkie. I've got over 25 years of software development experience. I've worked in a vast range of places. I started straight out of uni as a web developer, worked my way up to senior architect and CTO of some big companies. I've worked for big multinationals. I've worked for small startups. I've worked for design agencies in very different fields, such as social ads, spread betting, and now obviously marketing. And one thing I've always tried to maintain whilst doing all this work is I just love to be hands-on, because I actually love building things. And to be fair, you can probably imagine that most of the time I'm spent locked in the darkened room, coding, listening to techno. So I'm quite pleased to be let out and talk to some real people. So thanks for the invite. Okay, next slide. So 18th of November, 2024. This is a day I will remember well. So we'd been building Inkie for a while. I've been just coding, manual coding, building out the platform, making good progress. I've been hearing about these code editors, and I was like, well, I'll just give them a try. So I tried GitHub Copilot. I didn't like it. It was a bit clunky, didn't really integrate with my flow. So I downloaded Cursor and used it. I'd used it for about 15 minutes working on Inkie, and I was like, shit, 25 years of my life has changed. Overnight, gone. So now it's amazing. My velocity has just gone through the roof, and I can just build and build and build, and I love it. It's been a complete change in my life. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about my current tech stack. So I still use Cursor, but saying that, I now use Claude Code inside of Cursor. Cursor, I love its tab complete. So when I'm doing manual edits, I'll use Cursor for that. Claude Code, though, it's agentic stuff, and the way it just integrates, the way it works. And plus, with the release yesterday of 4.5, it's flipping amazing, and the integration's even better. I do still sometimes use Windsurf. In the early days, I flitted between Cursor and Windsurf because they were sort of competing. But now Cursor is by far better, I find, just because of the tab complete. But I do tend to play chase the tokens. So when I run out of tokens on Cursor and Claude Code, I've got to wait for my tokens to reset. I'll go over to Windsurf and use Windsurf. For stuff that isn't coding, planning, that type of thing, I'll tend to use ChatGPT, GPT-5 for planning, and then for images and videos, I'll use Google, the VO in Nano Banana. So the platform is built on a fairly modern stack. So we've got Superbase, which is fairly standard for OAuth database, background processing, scheduled jobs, queues, edge functions, that type of thing. The front end is in React Remix and the API, which isn't typical, but I did it like that because it was just easy for me to do it that way. The interesting thing here is Mastra. I don't know if you've heard of Mastra, but it's an agent building framework for TypeScript projects. If you've used Replit's new agent builder, that's what it uses under the hood. And most of Inkie's AI stuff is built using Mastra. We use Firecrawl for scraping websites, pulling in the products, events, that type of thing. We've got a mixture of LLMs that we use for different tasks. For the content gen, it's mainly OpenAI and a little bit of Anthropic, a little bit of Gemini for specific tasks. We're hosted in Vercel, and we use GitLab for our CI/CD and Git, obviously the code. And then I use Linear for project management because it integrates really nicely into Claude and Cursor, where I can actually create and update tickets while I'm coding. Next. Okay. So what is the Inkie platform? So it's a bespoke multi-agent AI platform. And what that means is we've built a system where we essentially have a team of AI agents working together to generate the content and schedule it every month. It's been custom built from the ground up, as I said, on Mastra, and we have plenty of agents doing lots of different tasks. So you may know this, but as you've been building on them, but it seems easy. You can spin up an LLM project really quickly, chat to it, get things to happen, but actually making them on scale, be reliable, say for generating a content plan for the month. We have to generate 30 bits of content, which have images, text, captions, all of this stuff, and scheduling. There's lots of moving pieces, and there's lots of points of failure because the LLMs can be flaky. So we built a system around the LLMs to make it reliable, fault tolerant, and we can basically at the end of the day know we'll get eventual consistency even if there are failures through the pipelines. Okay. So this is a very high level overview of how it kind of works. So in Inkie, our agents are atomic, and by that I mean they only carry out one very specific task and not very much else. They have access to the specific tools that they'll need to do that task and a prompt that tells them what to do. The reason I did it this way is because I experimented with loads of different ways of doing it. I did like workflows. We had multi-stage workflows for content gen where you did the social post, the image, and then the scheduling. But then it's really hard to debug, and when things go wrong in the middle, it becomes a bit of a nightmare. I also tried big like orchestrated patterns where I had orchestrator agents controlling sub-agents, which could then control sub-agents. And again, it worked, but it took a long time. And if anything happened, say a user navigated off the page, it would close the connection, which means you lose the process. The hosting company would shut it down, kill the process. You've just wasted all those tokens and you don't get anything out of the other end. So we break it up into very small chunks, which are queued and picked up by worker processes, which then call the agents to do the process. So I'll take you through, run you through from the top. So I've got the diagram the wrong way around a bit. The UI is at the bottom. So a user comes in, they want to generate their content. They'll chat using one of our front-end agents. We got a content plan designer who's nicknamed Yoda. They'll chat to Yoda, work out what they want to do that month. Yoda will then call into a tool, which will then spin up and push out a load of messages into different queues, which are picked up by workers running inside a Superbase, which then call the necessary agents. Once that agent's done their job, that agent will then call another tool for anything that needs to happen down the chain. For example, the social caption writer will then drop a message into a queue, which will then be pushed through to the image chooser generator, and so on. And then, so it's a loop basically. So if anything goes wrong, we can catch it, retry, put it and re-queue it with a bit of a delay. So it can be fault tolerant. We let it retry up to 3 times. After that, it will basically send me a message and say there's something wrong. And I have to go in and investigate. I am in the middle of building an agent that handles these kinds of problems, where it'll go in once we get a problem, so see if it can diagnose it itself and fix it, which it can do a lot of the time. Because generally, I have to just update something in a SQL table with a SQL statement. If I can train my AI, admin system to fix that, it'll be really cool. So that's coming. Okay, next slide. So a few tips that I've picked up along the way, which might be useful to you. So the main one, the most important one, is what you give the agent really, really counts. If you do a bit of planning up front with one of your LLM of choice to work out exactly what you want to do and come up with a plan to feed that into your agent, you'll be able to get a one-shot a lot of the time. And that's really key. Another thing is inside of your code base, keep rules files and overview files as markdown to reference for context when you're doing specific tasks. This works off the bat for Claude. If you put claude.md files in folders with specific tasks, you have one in the root and one for, say, in your database migrations, you have another one so it understands how you want to format stuff. One thing that I've learned is if you're struggling, things aren't going right, it's all not working, sometimes it's easier just to start again. Just like say, okay, revert what I've done, and start again. Sometimes you just go for chewing tokens, just trying to get it to do something which is never going to work. You're never going to get it right. So just stop it and take a step back. And sometimes it's easier just to go manually edit. I reckon, I think it was on a previous slide, but I'm probably about 80% AI and about 20% manual edits when the AI just can't get it right. A lot of the time it's design changes where it's just easier for me to go and spin up dev tools in Chrome, make the changes, work out what I need to do, and then put that into it. Other things, it's like complicated logic where it'd be easier for me to just write it than try to explain what I want it to do. Another thing is if you're building on a platform with row-level security, make sure you do that early, because trying to backport that onto existing tables can be a bit of a pain in the arse, and it can lead to like unexpected bugs where data's not loaded and data inconsistency. So make sure you do that early. And then we've talked about MC already with James. So MCP, there's a lot of really useful MCPs that you can use when you're coding, which you can hook into your agents, especially for documentation. Like there's for master, they've got a documentation MCP, and for project management like Linear, I love it. It just integrates seamlessly. Okay, so last slide, bit of off to the side. So I know we talk about AI in the business context, workflows, automations, that type of thing. But actually, these tools can build whatever you want. So this is an example. So last week we did a trade show for Sussex Business. And we decided it was a retro gaming theme. So we decided to, as you do, the week before, build a retro gaming Space Invaders tabletop game using a Raspberry Pi and an arcade controller. So I sort of sketched out, Sophie built the box, and we butchered a coffee table for the glass top and the frame, and then just an old crate we had in the house as the bottom bit, and the legs off another coffee table. I basically wrote the code. So I went into ChatGPT, formulated a plan, told it what I wanted to do, said I was doing it on a Raspberry Pi, took that into Claude Code, and basically just refined the plan a little bit, hit go. Within 20 minutes, Claude Code had basically connected to the Raspberry Pi. All I had to do was give it the IP address and generate an SSH key, set up a server, written the game, a prototype of the game, wasn't the final game, and got it running so I could play it. Within 20 minutes, I never worked with a Raspberry Pi. I've never written a game before, and it was just that easy. So what I would say to you is if you can imagine it, you can build that. So go build some cool stuff. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Simon. All righty. So can I invite everyone? Oh, don't worry. Drop the mic. Literally drop the mic. If I can invite you all to come and take a seat, and if anyone has any questions, I've got some if you haven't, but I already saw some hands go up during the conversation. Oh, brilliant. I'm going to go. Sorry. I'll come to you with the mic. Alex.
Yeah, I guess from everyone, that's amazing. From all the contributors tonight, thanks so much for preparing all that like information about what you do. Super inspiring. Yeah, Sophie, my question is really to you. You described what I think sounded a bit like a nirvana state for people that might not have the opportunity to do stuff that really their life should be able to do.
With the business builder?
Yeah.
But
my question is really about whether or not that is going to be something that will continue to be possible and like build going forwards for people like as an opportunity, because at the moment you've described something where the challenge, you've sort of seen it firsthand and you've thought this is something that we can fix. But I'm just wondering whether or not like the technology can be used for good in the way that you described it, without it being used to make money or fulfill another purpose beyond the one that you described.
Well, as long as we're still in charge of the company and we have no intention of selling it or anything. So yes, the marketing side of things funds the business builder, which is free for users. So we are hoping that the job centres won't have any reason to say no. We've got the support now of Innovate UK, which is a government agency. So yeah, I'm hoping we don't have no intention of charging for it. At some point, we would quite like the government to pay us to build a portal so that the work coaches can directly access the information instead of it having to come through the user. But yeah, that's our intention, and very much hope that we can help millions of people set up in business.
Okay, thanks, Alex. Also, please feel free to share any of your experiences or what you're building, but we will still focus on questions because I saw a few more hands go up. Melissa.
Thank you. Hi, I'm also an N8N person. I like building an N8N, but I've always interested when I see the YouTube tutorials and things like that. how did you know that N8N could do something that complex? And how did you go about designing that solution and then going, okay, I'm going to build that and that's what it's going to do. And that's the sort of end result it's going to get. For you, is it more like an iterative thing and you're kind of learning as you go along, or is it you've done several solutions in N8N and now you kind of got the hang of it? Or is it more like a bit of a research thing beforehand? What works for you?
Yeah, I guess I think with N8N, I started off when I probably first used it like a year ago or something. And at first I was just using it like Zapier, so as a workflow based thing. And to be honest, I didn't really get that interested in it until they added that AI agent feature into it. And for me, that was what was really exciting. And yeah, like when I first started using it, all I did was literally step by step follow YouTube tutorials on how to build an agent, not even one that is particularly useful to me, but just to help me learn it. And I actually found it quite fun, like that process. It's almost like a video game, like piecing all the bits together and testing it and tweaking the prompt to get the output right. So yeah, I just kind of played around with it and eventually got hooked. And I was like, oh, wow, I can actually automate boring stuff that I don't have to do anymore with this. So yeah, that's how I kind of got into it, I guess.
Thanks, Melissa. Anyone else? The other thing just to bear in mind, we're all different levels of experience. So if there's any acronyms that you don't understand or if you want them explained, don't be afraid to ask. And if we could try and not be acronyms and talk about it just for the benefit of everyone. Any more questions? Yeah, hi. Alexa?
Yeah. I just wondered how long it took you to make the game and whether somebody who hasn't done any coding but can follow instructions could make something.
So yeah, the game took me in total to about 2 to 3 days.
Oh, awesome.
But that was, I mean, there was a lot involved. I made it quite complicated for myself. So basically all of the levels were custom, which meant that I had to then create all of the graphics, but I actually used Nana Banana to create the graphics. But it was, if you were not coding, you could probably do it if you kept it simple. And I reckon you could get AI to do the entire thing. The basic version that Claude Code made me initially was all AI, and it was a working Space Invaders, like the classic Space Invaders. Yeah. And he did it all.
No, I'm intrigued because I got a book about making basic applications using AI and Python, and it was telling you how to do it.
Yeah.
So I've read the chapters, but not actually made anything yet.
Yeah. If you get the right prompt to give to the agent, it will do it. Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ali?
For Simon, the development work you showed is amazing. I just wonder, how many developers do you employ? Is it just yourself and AI?
Just me and AI.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That's it. Yeah. So yeah, me and my AI minions.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, we got two over here. Sorry, I can't see your name. Oh, Yannick.
Hi, thanks for the talks. I guess it's a question for probably all of you. How deterministic all of these flows are? Because as far as I understand it, it's all prompts, right? So is it like the MCP servers that make them deterministic then? Or how is it? Yeah.
So for me, the content we get out is non-deterministic. It's completely random, but the process that happens is deterministic and it follows a set flow, which means that at the end of the day, you do get consistent results because of essentially the context we give to the agents is what we've got through the onboarding. It will be good enough for what we need and it will be decent quality content, but it isn't completely non-deterministic apart from, it's sort of based on what we know about the customer.
Okay. Thank you.
The only thing I would just add is maybe the importance of evals in that, and that I know that's in that's been recently added to N8N as well, that tool. So, like, if you change an AI model, for example, you could get like a completely different output, or if you tweak the prompt, the output might be completely different. And with those, you can kind of test the impact of those changes. So for me, they say that's becoming one of the most important skills for product managers these days, is being able to write these evals that check how consistent the outputs of AI are, because like by its nature, there can be a lot of variety in the output sometimes.
Just add to that Mastra has that built in as well for evals, if you wanted to use that.
Okay, thank you. Bima.
This may sound slightly off topic, but how comfortable are you with the services you're using to build these systems online in terms of the content you're passing through, what are clearly online API calls and MCP calls?
So you have to be careful with what you give to the MCPs, and especially what you give to the LLMs. You would never pass an API token to an LLM, but a lot of the tools I use, in fact, most of the tools I use, I built myself. So I know what's in them, and I really tightly control the security about what the LLM can see. Essentially, the LLM calls into a black box with data, doesn't know anything about authorization. So the external MCP servers, you have to be careful. You have to know what you're doing. You have to trust. There is a bit of trust involved with what you do,
But even like Superbase and passing it on, because this is like, it's open, it's on the internet. Yes, I appreciate there's a security layer there.
You could say that about pretty much any hosting provider. The whole internet is built on that kind of trust premise. So Superbase is just one of those, And Superbase, you can pay. I mean, it's annoying that it's not in the base package, but you can get, if you pay it's significantly more, you can get a lot more accreditations about the data security and the SOC certification, that type of thing. But it does cost more money than the base packages.
Great. Any other questions? Brilliant. We've got a second question.
I might add a tiny bit on that one, actually, that just about the transparency. I think OpenAI are quite interesting in that they, if you opt in to share your data with them, you get tons of free tokens, which is kind of cool, I guess. Like if it's not particularly sensitive data that you're sending, then you can get tons of free credit to use with OpenAI, and then you're kind of trusting them that they're not using it when you don't have that turned on, basically. But that was the only thing I was going to add.
Christian? Yeah.
Hi. I was just wondering how much faster, if you could put a number on it, you feel using Cursor compared to Copilot or the traditional way things were done years ago?
At least 10 times. I couldn't give you a number, but it's significantly more. Something that would take me like a lot. What doing boilerplate code, you're doing database CRUD operations where it's just like stuff you have to write. I mean, you could try and template it, which I have tried to do previously, but it just takes time, and because it's manual, it's really error prone. And those kinds of jobs, like the AI, will do it in a second, and that would have taken me 2 days. So and even for complex code, complex problems, like for a human minds to work it out and make sure there's no bugs, it's bug free, it works as the spec should be, it's complicated. It takes a lot of thought, whereas the AI can do it really, really quickly. So it's a significant increase in productivity using AI.
Okay, we're still on first questions, but I'm coming around to second questions. But anyone not asked a question that wants to yet? Thank you.
Hi there. So really super impressive, all of you, and the outputs are incredible. I was wondering how much you consider and measure the outcomes of what you do in terms of how do you know your solution works for the initial purpose that it was created for?
Well, in terms of our customers and marketing, it is exponential. So, people use it in different ways, but one of our clients has used it to just get traffic onto their website. So they've been posting daily blogs, which isn't how it's like meant to work, but it's fine. And the customers have gone from 0 users a month to over 1,000 on Instagram. People's the output. It's just brute forcing out content as well. It seems to all this sort of ideas that you've got to have, you've got to be specialized and you've got to do reels and all this kind of stuff. Well, we've discovered that actually just consistently sending out good content relevant content that connects is a way to reach more customers. It does make a difference, but that's a very unique kind of market. I don't know if anyone else.
And yeah, for me, it's super simple. Is that it enables us to host events, for example, and to run the whole thing where we couldn't really do it, like because it's not like financially viable for me to spend like all my time on that. But if we can get a load of AI agents to go and run it and make the events happen and help us do all that admin, it allows it to be viable and possible to do. So yeah, that just as a simple level for me.
Thank you. Any more first questions? Yeah. Francesca.
Hi, yes, just to build a little bit on this, especially you both have unstructured outcomes, right? Like, it's great that you can measure like, additional clients or more conferences, but like if there is an issue somewhere and you see some of these numbers drop, it would be really difficult to find, at least from outside here, right? It would be very difficult to understand why that is if you don't have some sort of quantitative evaluation of the outcome. Like, do you kind of solve for this? Like, do you have, for instance, I don't know, one thing could be like some of the model are changed on, I don't know, from Google or from ChatGPT, and then now the brand voice is not represented well and some issues happen. Like, do you have any kind of evaluation of this type?
Not really. So I think to get to that sort of level, you need more data. So we do. I think once we've collected enough data, we could potentially feed that through some machine learning model to do that sort of analysis. But because we're fairly early days, we've got a few customers, but we haven't got thousands of customers. So to be able to measure that and analyze it, we definitely need more data. But I think it is doable to some degree, but then working out what changed to change the outcome is probably the difficult. Like you say, if the model changes, I know we have seen that where like ChatGPT 5 was completely different to what we were used to dealing with, but there's even subtle things like you might just change the prompt, like change a couple of words in the prompt, which completely changes the outcome. And then tracking that, what actually triggered it is probably, as you said, a difficult part. So it's a tricky one. That is a tricky one.
Thank you. Any more first questions? No? All right, on to the second questions. Melissa, I know you had one.
I was just wondering if you could comment on Claude Code and how effective you find it. I quite often build things with just a bit of like HTML, CSS, and so on. And I find my experience with Claude is I go into it and I kind of say, I want my code to do this. And it turns out to be something very different from what I expected it to be. And I have a hard time getting it to render what I'm trying to make it look like, and I'm wondering what I'm missing, and you're obviously aware of that.
So I would say that I don't know how you're planning it and what you're giving, or what the instructions are that you're giving it, but as detailed as possible. So using an AI, an LLM, to actually help you construct the spec document of exactly what you want, get it to ask you questions, like clarify, just refine it and make it really specific what you're looking for. And hopefully that will get you what you need. That's how I do it. I've got a process. I could probably take you through it at some point, but it's like I do a brain dump where I essentially talk into my phone to ChatGPT, just like talk, just get it all out, get it to structure that into a sort of a summary. I then take that and then feed that into Claude Code with context of the project I'm working on, to try and work out like basically the steps to get to where I need to go. And then from that, turn that into linear spec tickets, which is way more complicated than you probably need, for steps of the process, and then create markdown files in the project of the steps that need to happen, and then get Claude to do step at a time and mark it off as it's done. And using that, it's fairly complicated, but it works a treat if you can get to make that work.
So break it into components. Yeah.
Break it into components. Yeah.
Cool.
Good spec broken into components.
Just a final bit on Claude Code. Actually, I think there's a bit of a branding mistake with Claude Code, I think, sometimes, because Claude Code isn't the same as the Claude on the web that I showed earlier. It doesn't have things like plan mode and like you were describing, like that is Claude Code, and you have to use that in like the terminal or in Cursor or whatever. But Claude on the web is a little, it's not as good, to be honest, for doing those kind of tasks. And it is worth, again, checking out. I got to start using Claude Code in Cursor through simple YouTube videos that introduced it, but I'm not a programmer who's used like VS Code or Cursor or any of those, so I found that really good. And the outputs are completely different from Claude on the web to Claude Code for me anyway.
All right, amazing. I think we're gonna wrap it there. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for going with the clicker that didn't work. Rose, amazing, but non-technical experience on the AV, and my pretending to click. First time public speaking. So well done. And clearly you had enough questions to demonstrate that there was a huge amount of interest in there. So thanks again, everyone, for that. Okay, just the final, I think, really, are asks and offers. So over to you. This is an opportunity for you to ask for help. So help, advice, collaboration, or any intros that you're looking for, or offer tools, skills, time, or insights. So has anyone got an ask, or has anyone got an... Oh, amazing. I'll come over. Feel free to stay up there. Whichever you want.
Okay, so we've got two that have come in via the network. So Brighton University, they're looking for panelists. It's for Tuesday, 14th of October. And they'd like to find people who are willing to talk to their students. Their students in the maths and computing area, or their students from other disciplines who are considering moving into tech. And they're looking to put together a diverse panel, so people with different demographics, put my teeth in, career stages, sectors, to talk to them really about their career journeys, their stories, and to give advice for students, given that this is probably one of the most difficult periods for graduate recruitment. Anyone who's got anything to offer, please put your hands up for that. So it's between 2 and 3. It'll be just here. So if you can get here, you can get there. So it's great. So whether it's software engineering, data science, fintech, research, cybersecurity, and beyond. I'm going to throw product management in there because I always do. So that's that. So if you're willing to do that, that'd be awesome. And then the second one is women in construction. So they are throwing an event in Worthing on the 16th of October. The aim of Women in Construction is to provide a network, particularly for early careers, women who are moving into that sector. And they want to find some more speakers who join a panel who are willing to talk about applications of AI and how to use it in a very pragmatic and practical way. So if you feel like you've got some knowledge that you can share there, that would be awesome. So it promises to be quite an engaging, uplifting event, and one where they're giving people really practical advice. So 16th of October, that's in the evening, and it's in Worthing. So those are my two. So anyone else? Yeah.
So yeah, hi, I'm Alice. I run a community of fractional directors called Fractional On Demand. And if you don't know what a fractional director is, it's just like a really wanky way of saying part-time. We kind of sit in lots of businesses as their directors. So we are running an event tomorrow night called the Executive Exchange, where we are opening up all of our members to any businesses locally, just to come and pick our brains, and kind of we've got some great CTOs. Andy's going to be here as one of our members. We've got finance directors, sales directors. If anyone's got any kind of business issues they need some help with, let me know and come along. We'd love to see you. And if you want to know how a fractional director works, come along, ask them, or you can ask Inkie, because I'm their fractional COO. So they use the model very well. And also, while I'm here and I've got a microphone, if you want to know how good Inkie works, you can see, if you look at our fractional on-demand social media, that is all run by Inkie. So you can see it in the flesh.
Thank you. So that was an offer. Any asks? Any offers? Oh, quiet group this time. Normally you can't put people down, can you? In a nice way, of course. No asks? Ah, brilliant.
Hi, my name is Itra Junaid, and I'm a researcher, PhD researcher, and I'm doing some research on SMEs, how they're integrating AI in their CRM. So if anyone wants to participate in my data collection process, I'm trying to find out how SMEs, what is their experience, how SME personnel are reacting towards AI in CRM, and what are the motivators to implement AI in their CRM, and then what are the outcomes as well. So if you would like to contribute, you can contact Mary, and then, and then that's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing. Inspired anymore? Yeah, brilliant. Come on. Of course you can. Sit up. Come over here.
Hi, everybody. My name's Andy Forrester from Hype Accelerator Solutions, and I'm based here at PlusX. I'd like to make you aware of a white paper that I contributed to on AI and foundational models. Okay, this white paper is owned by the European Technology Platform for High Performance Computing. It's an organization that's sponsored by the European Commission, and we exist to provide the technology strategy and roadmap for the European Commission on AI as to inform the Horizon Europe Innovation Program, which you may have heard of. I don't know if have we got access to the web that we can put on the screen, and I can just. Is it? All right. So if you just put in ETP. Sorry, I'll make this as quick as I can. Okay. ETP for the digit 4. How are we doing? Oh, am I being streamed? Oh, no.
Yeah. It's taken us 2 hours to work out the AV.
All right. So anyway, if you've got pen and paper, all right, go the traditional model. ETP 4, digit 4, hpc.eu, and you navigate to the strategic research agenda. The white paper on foundational models, AI foundational models, is in there, and it was published in February this year, but it's still current, and it represents the research strategy and roadmap for AI, for Europe, for the 26 member states of the European Union and the UK, unfortunately. Fortunately, all right, and it's worth a read. It's worth a read. It gives you some. It will provide you with some interesting insights on what the bleeding edge look ahead, is for the next 2 to 3 years on AI strategies, technologies, principles, approaches, architectures for the next 2 to 3 years. So worth a read. Okay, that was all.
We'll email the link out if you haven't already got it on your phones. Thank you. No, that's great. Anything else? Or are we going to close for final networking and beer and what's left of the Watsits? Amazing, everyone. Thank you very much for our speakers. Thanks for coming tonight. Amazing help from us not being that technical on the live stream, so we'll let you know if that works. And all that's left is to go and have follow-on drinks and networking. Thank you. Oh, yeah. No code and brews on the 29th.